It's been a while since I've done any tutorials, and frankly, there just hasn't been anything that I felt like talking about. If you know my work, you know that um, I prefer doing tutorials about a process, not necessarily a feature. So, although you learn about the feature by listening to me, you really learn more about some process. And recently, I've been playing with the Final Cut 10, and I did a music video with 20 camera angles in it. And I used the brand new Multicam editor, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. What I won't be showing is the music video footage, but I will be showing kind of a typical kind of multi-camera, interview type thing. So this is designed for somebody who's never really used Final Cut, and you have your canvas over here, or whatever they call it. You have your bins over here, and your event library. You have your project library down here, and this is where your timeline will be, and other stuff pops up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new event, which used to be a project. I will start a new project, which used to be a timeline. I'm going to make some new keyword libraries, which used to be bins, and why all these things are different I still think is stupid. At any rate, let's get started. So what I'm going to do is in my 2012 I don't even know what they call this thing. It's my 2012 stuff. If I click on this, it shows me everything that was worked on in 2012. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to make a new event, and what I'm going to call it is I don't know, multicam. Multicam test. Okay, because we're still making tests. And then in that event, I'm going to make a few what they call keyword searches. So if I right-click on that and say New Keyword Collection, I'm going to call it my footage. Probably a better word for that. And I'm going to make another one called New Keyword Collection called Audio. I got to click on that. Whoops. Look at that little lonely A up there. Audio. Okay, now when I tab over here to the Finder, I do have some sample footage here. I'm going to open this up. And I have a bunch of B-roll, but what I'm really going to concentrate on is this one bit. And this is a thing of Shane Hurlbut talking about the Red Rock Micro stuff that he used on Active Valor, which opened just yesterday, or 2 days ago, whatever. So what I'm going to do is I have 4 camera angles of Shane sitting down talking about the Red Rock Micro stuff, and I'm going to drag that into my footage bin or keyword search. Now you notice when I did that, that event said, oh, no, not 2012. It jumped it down to 2010. Now why is that? Well, it's because the footage is a couple years old. It was shot in November 2010. And so it thinks it needs to be in 2010, which I think is dumb, but whatever. And then I also have an audio file, and I'm going to put that in the audio searcher thing, keyword thing. So when I click on the audio bin or keyword library, or what do they call it? Keyword collection. I get the audio. When I click on the footage, I get my footage. And when I click on multicam test, I get all of it. Now, again, we're going to make a multicam project. And the way you do that, the coolest thing about the Final Cut 10 is that it will sync everything for you. Now, each of these cameras has wild audio on it. If I just scrub through this, or excuse me, skim through it. Okay, and then this is the one from the audio recordist who actually did a good recording instead of the wild sound that's on the 5Ds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on all this. I'm going to I'm going to lasso all these, and then I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to say New Multicam Clip. Now, this is where it gets really cool, because Final Cut 10, I'm going to call this, well, he's talking about Red Rock Micro, so I'm going to go Red Rock Micro. And as long as you have this guy checked on here, use audio for synchronization, it's just magic. Now, I'm going to say make the video a comment on the clips. Yeah, it's all... It says it's 720. Really? All right, check that. Come out here, right-click on this. Open with Final Cut 7. No, that's 1080. Okay, so that's probably just some sample thing. Sorry for diverting there. Okay, so as long as I have this use audio for synchronization, this is, I don't even know how long these clips are. It's, I don't know, 10 minutes or something. And I'm going to click OK. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to listen to the audio in the sound file, the WAV file. It's going to listen to the audio in camera A, camera B, camera C, and camera D. And it's going to wiggle, jiggle those around. And then it's going to go, oh, okay, well, here's your new multicam clip. So I'm going to let this think for a little bit. It takes about, I timed it earlier, and it took about 15 or 20 seconds. And of course, now it's taking longer. And there, we're done. So now here's my clip. Now, what's scary is the clip is black. Now, we're going to get to that in a second. Now, in order to really work with that clip, I need a timeline, or what Final Cut 10 calls a project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to click on New Project. That's what this little plus sign means. And in Chris Fenwick land, I always give something a client name first, so HV for Horribit Visuals. I give it a project name, Red Rock Micro, and I give it a version number. So this is version 1. And I think all this stuff is right. To be honest with you, I never look at it. So, and the default event is my multicam test. Now you notice that thing that was in 2010 is now up here in 2012 because I made the multicam clip. So it's like, oh, so what this little divider here, it's not when you made it or when you last worked, it's not when you made it, but it's when you last worked on it, which I think is a little weird. I don't like things rearranging themselves on their own. It's just bizarre. So I'm going to click OK for my project, and it makes me an empty project. And now when I take my Red Rock multicam clip, and I know it's multicam because it's got that little guy, and I bring it down here, I'm good to go, except for the fact that there's no video, which scares the hell out of me because I don't get this. So I've messed with all this before. When I right-click on the clip, I get active video angle up here, and you see I have 5 things. Well, I have camera A, B, C, and D, and of course, the sound file. The reason it's black is it is showing me the video from the sound file, and of course, the sound file has no video, so I get that. And then the other thing that's kind of weird is this has the clip name. Now, if you've ever looked at any of my tutorials, you can see that this is the original clip name, and I renamed it with the camera letter, the camera reel, and the date that it was shot. And this is bogus. So I don't know what these mean. So, well, before we get to that, let's do some more setup here. So what I want to do here is I'm gonna hide my event library because I need to have some more space here, and I'm gonna show my angle viewer. And you see I have my little tiny program window and my little angle viewer. Now I can take this little guy and scroll this over, and sometimes it doesn't grab. There we go. And now I have my angle viewer, and I have my program monitor, and all is good. So that's how I'm going to cut my show. Now you notice I had actually 5 things. I had 4 angles and an audio, and here I have a 4 up, and there's a click here, and there's the 4th angle. Click here for settings. I can see, oh, here's all 9 angles. Well, that's dumb because I want to see these. So these are all little like gotchas that we're going to get to. But the biggest gotcha right now is the fact that I don't know what these angles are. I mean, I do know, but the file name is not as cool as like have it say close up or wide shot or side shot or Steadicam shot, whatever. So here's the problem. What I want to do is I want to give these clips more information. And if I click on a clip, this is A1, and that's my wide shot. I come over here to the inspector. I can say, oh, camera name. Oh, well, that sounds interesting. Well, let's call that, well, it is camera A, but I just want to call it the wide shot, right? So that's wide. And let's see, B, well, that's Shane's close-up, so I'm going to call it close-up. And again, this is the inspector info tag. C was the Steadicam dude. Yeah, so we'll come over here. And again, you would have video, audio, and info. And then we're going to call this the Steadicam. And number 4 was this profile. I'm just going to call it side because it's easier to spell. Okay. So there we go. Now, if I come down here and right-click here, you go, oh, that's bogus. It still has the same names. Or does it? Let's see. I know that over here in my little tiny guy, there's a thing here where I can click. No, it should be angle, not clip name. So here's the rub, and I'm kind of, screwing up here on purpose. I happen to know that this pop-up menu only works if you've changed the angle or the camera name here before you make the multicam clip. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to delete this multicam clip, move to trash, and it's going to say can't do it. The reason it can't do it is it's actually used in a timeline, so I'm going to delete it from there, and then I'm going to delete this. Luckily, this didn't take that long to make. Move to trash. Background task or rendering. Another gotcha. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to click OK. Background task, what's it doing? Well, here it is. Background task, Command 9. Basically, what it's doing is it's transcoding all my footage because I told it to do that in the default setting. And again, we're squirreling down. Create optimized media was actually clicked for the import tab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that. I'm going to stop that rather. Come over here, and now I can move this to the trash. And you're going, but that's your multicam clip. Oh, more background tasks are rendering happening. What is happening? Cancel. There we go. And now I should be able to move that to trash. Okay. So now that I've actually named these camera names, when I make my multicam again, new multicam clip, and I'm going to call it Red Rock, what it's going to do now is it's actually going to take that camera name or that angle name into the multicam data. Again, it takes about 20 seconds. Take this guy, drag it down here. Still black. I see my 5 angles here. Okay. But when I right click here, active video angle, side, Steadicam, close up, wide. Now, logically, they don't make sense because I don't really want the audio to be number 1, because what I'd rather do is use, instead of a 9 up, what I'd rather do is use a 4 up and just have my 4 angles here. Here's page 1 of my 4 angles, and here's page 2 of my 4 angles. So here's a trick. If I take in my bin here and I double click on this guy, I get this guy. And basically what I get to do here is see down here, I get to see all the angles. How do I close that? Probably like that. There we go. And the order here, top to bottom, is the order here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my audio and just drag that down to the bottom. I think that does it. Yeah. And then what I'd like to do is go, I'd like to have them be ordered wide, close up, Steadicam side. Now, actually, I think I want side Steadicam, which actually goes against the way the cameras were lettered, but whatever. So there we go. Wide, close up, side Steadicam. Okay. Now, when I hit this little arrow here, I will go back to my actual clip. Now we can start actually editing, but let's take a look. So now, these little guys here are telling me what I'm going to edit when I switch. Now, I really want to only edit the video, but right now I have to make sure that the audio, okay, so the audio is on this angle, which is the good audio. The video now will only switch between these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4 using my keyboard. So at this point, I can actually scrub through past the slate. You can probably hear the fan on my little laptop kicking in. So if I were to, I don't know, I'm not really going to edit this because Shane didn't actually tell me I could play all this stuff, but he did say I could use some of his footage. So now if I hit play, at this point I can cut between my cameras. Camera 1, ready 2, take. I'm just using my keyboard now. 1, 2, 3, 4 on my keyboard. 3, ready 1, take 1. Now, you'll notice it's not playing back well. There's a couple reasons why it's not playing back well. 1 is because I'm making a screen capture at the same time here. 2 is that it really just doesn't play back well. Now, the faster the drive, the better it plays back. am stopping now. But here's something that's really important. What doesn't happen is that the audio doesn't get messed up. Even if you're cutting music, when I cut the music video I did a couple weeks ago, I did this with 20 camera angles on a Thunderbolt RAID, a Promise RAID, and the audio played perfect. All my cuts happened right on the beat. And you see now I have my name and time code. I think I can turn off the time code. Yeah, I can go like this because I really don't need time code on 5D footage. And now when I play back here, you notice it's still, now it's playing pretty good. Here's an important thing you want to learn. Command Shift 7, which is the keyboard shortcut for show and hide the angle viewer. Because when the angle viewer is off, this will play much better. So I don't want to start on that angle. So I right click on here. Let's go to the close-up. Okay, so when I zoom in here, I can actually take this this shot here when I cut to this close-up, and I can use all my edit tricks that I use in Final Cut 10, and I can roll edits and slip edits, and I pick it up where his hand goes to it. And actually, what I don't want, I want to actually continue on that shot. Now I'm going to show you one more little trick here. This is, I didn't want to necessarily get into this yet. Now here's a Final Cut 10 thing. I can't, what's it called in 7? Where you get the little red nipples and you want to just blend that across. What I really want to do is I want to make this shot last this length without changing my timing. Here's a cool trick. Command Option up arrow. Drag this out to here, to the snap point, and then Command Option, select it again, Command Option down arrow. Then I can delete that. So now that one shot lasts. And there's the tilt up. And that's how, and that's it. Now at that point you can work your timeline as much as you want. You can pull out time, whatever you want. But those are some sort of beginning gotchas on the Multicam editor. Oh, did I show you now? So when I come down here, I can right click on this and say, yeah, I don't want to be on the close-up here. I want to be on the Steadicam shot. And then you go. Oh, there was 2 Steadicam shots in a row. But anyway, that's how you can use the camera angles. The camera angle, what is it called here? Yeah, camera name as a tag, so it makes it easier to use active video angle right here. All right, that's some Final Cut 10 Multicam stuff. If you like this, I'll do some more later.